Students, this is the help video for the second portion of your study guide. Properties about triangles. Let's put that in the margin here. A few properties that are super important to keep in mind. These are the kind of diagrams you can put on your reference card. The first one is simply this. You go like that with a little arrow. Is the fact that triangles will always add up to 180, at least on flat planes. Another one. Exterior. Thumb. Remote. Interior. Exterior, thumb, remote, interior. This one, if you have two equal sides, follow it down into the corners, you're going to have two equal angles. Those are some simple properties about triangles that you should be familiar with. So taking a look here, this is an exterior angle. We are actually being asked to find TDE, which is that angle right there. That's an exterior angle. Let's make a thing equation here. We know that that exterior angle is equal to the sum of the remote interiors. So exterior angle is equal to the sum of the remote, meaning far away, interior angles. Obviously, you're going to circle plug chug and solve for x. Don't get all happy when you solve for x, though. It's not asking for x. You have to plug it back in. Pause the video, finish the problem, check your work. You should know how to do congruency statement. That's just side, 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 side angle, side, etc. Don't forget, let me come back to this. Watch out for your freebies. Let me go through again. What are your freebies? Things you should be hunting for is reflexive sides. Very important. Also, if you have parallel lines, you should watch out for armpits of the Z. And every time you mark a pair of angles, you put an A. Every time you mark a pair of sides, you put one S, and then an A for angles. And this first one, number 5, is a hamburger, where the S is sandwiched between two angles. That's how you do that section. Pause, do all that work. Number 9, find the value of x. A couple things you want to watch out for is if you have two equal sides, you have two equal angles. So you do those hatch marks, and then you follow them down into the corners, and you can see that whatever x is, it's going to be the same over here. But the problem is there's no numbers there. So you have to start where you have numbers. So let's physically trace 107. Now I'd like you to go ahead and sweep a 180. You see here that that's 180. So you're going to solve for that angle. We get 73. Now look right here. We have hatch marks here and here. So you follow that into the corners, follow it down, and you see that that 73 is going to be the same as right there. So now we want to come and find that angle, keeping in mind that triangles add up to 180. So find that angle, and then of course sweep that. That's 90, and you're going to work from there. Pause the video, finish that problem, check your work. Said find the missing length indicator. Super important that you always identify what you're trying to find first. We went I to K, so that is ultimately what we want, not just X. Let's look at what's observed. So I got double hatchments here, which means F is a midpoint. Hatch marks here, that means E is also a midpoint, which makes F to E a mid-segment, commonly known as a midseg. So since that's a midseg, the blue segment is twice as big as the red, or the red is half of the blue. Color code this. It's really simple. The red is half of the blue, or you could go like this. The blue is twice of the red. And you're like, which of these equations should I use? Always write both of them down. Now, if we use this one, it's going to look like this, right? The red, 2x plus 30 equals 1/2 the blue, x plus 24. If we do the other one, we're going to go like this. X plus 24 equals 2 of 2x plus 30. And so you just ask yourselves, which one of these is easier to use? But always do things, think in terms of things before you do your algebra. So you do both variation of the thing equations. Again, color's super helpful here. And you figure out which one's the easiest to use. Solve for x. Don't get all happy when you solve for x, because it's not asking for x, guys. And in a multiple choice test, guaranteed the value of x will be one of your answers. And if you mark it, it'll be wrong. Because the question does not ask for x, it actually wants the segment length ik. Each figure below shows one of its angle bisectors. Angle bisectors. So now that I've established that that's an angle bisector, the very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to stretch it out. I'm going to sweep, and I'm going to make note that those are equal. I'm going to color code this. We're given angle 1 right here is 6x minus 5. And we're given angle HFG. The whole thing is 9x plus 5. Now, the most common mistake students make is they just see equations and they just kind of randomly do this. Oh, 6x minus 5 equals, let's see, 9x plus 5. And you just randomly solve for x. Do not randomly put algebra together. Think in terms of things before algebra. You look carefully, the red does not equal the green. Instead, we have to add a third color here. That blue segment 2, angle 2, plus the red angle 1 adds up to the green. Let's make another thing equation. What's also true is that the red equals green. Both of those are true thing statements. Things. First, think in terms of things before algebra. Now we're going to circle plug chug. So I have my green already, which is the whole angle, 9x plus 5. I have my red, which is 6x minus 5. And you're like, but wait a minute, I don't have anything for the blue. But right over here, we established, because of that word angle bisector, that the blue and the red are equal. So I can replace the blue with the red. Solve for x. Keep in mind, the question doesn't simply ask for x. It asks actually for the measure of angle 1 when you are done. Things before algebra. Color coding, very helpful. Pause the video, finish both of these, check your work. Number 17, state to see if they can be a triangle. This is monkey face, eyebrow, eyebrow, smiley. All right, and you check like this if 5 plus 8 is bigger than 11. And then you do 8 plus 11, is that bigger than 5? And then the last one, 5 plus 8, is that larger, 5 plus 11. Five plus 11 is bigger than 8. If they all go like this, yes, 2 sums larger than the third, then it's going to be a yes. If not, it's a no. Question mark, question mark, question mark. You do your own math and check it there. Do 17 and 18 and check your work. It says 2 sides of a triangle have the following measures. Find the range of the possible third side. So this is kind of like an undercover eyebrow, eyebrow, smiley. So we don't have a third side, so we're going to go like this, X. Eyebrow. 9 plus 11 has to be greater than our X. Other eyebrow. 11 plus X has to be greater than 9. Smiley. 9 plus X has to be greater than 11. You solve for X, and you're going to end up with X being greater than a number, and that number must be positive because lengths of triangles must be positive. So one of these is going to give you a negative number. Whatever that negative number is, just check it. So X is going to be greater than a positive number and less than another number, and that's going to give you your range. Solve. Check your work for both. We just did this. State if the triangles are similar. And the shortcuts you're looking for here are angle similarity, side similarity, or side angle side similarity. Let me get you started on 24 here. Super important. If you have overlapping triangles, your first and foremost duty is to pull them apart. Pull your numbers over. Let's do the blue first. That's 156, 130. That's going to be 20. And then obviously we're going to take a look right there. And to get that unknown, which you need for right there to check it, of course, is 156 minus 131. And we get 25. Now, they do share that angle right there. So you at least have an angle. Now you have to go back and check the ratios and see if the ratios work and whether or not it's going to be side angle side or not. If the ratios don't work, then it is just going to be a big fat no. If they do work, you say yes, you say which one, and you complete that statement. We just had a test on these, so the main thing is simply match and mirror. Match and mirror. Taking a look at 27, I see this 2x plus 4 matches with 16. And this 10, careful, does not match with 24. That's unknown. You can easily find that. 24 minus 16 is going to give you that unknown, and then you simply make your proportion. Each of the figures has one or more of its medians. Let's do a quick recap. When you have a triangle and you have a median, and that right there means that's going to be a centroid. Median connects midpoints, and that's a centroid. We know this, that vertex to the centroid, blue, is twice as big as centroid to that midpoint. So the blue is 2 of the red. Or another way you can say it, and you should always have both, is that the red is half of the blue. You need to have both versions to see which one you want to work with. Let's take a look here. Look at 29. We are given CU, which is the blue segment, and you are given UF, which is the red, and our ambition is to find CF, which is the whole thing. So I'm going to pull this segment out so it's a little bit easier to see. C, U, and F. We're going to label. C to U, that's 2x plus 4. U to F, 2x minus 1. Our ultimate ambition is to find C all the way to F. Now, we're going to write both our equations here and see which will help us out. We know that the blue is 2 of the red. We also know that the red is half of the blue. We don't have anything for the green to work with, so we're going to leave that alone. You can see here that since we have the red, we can simply plug it in right there. And we have the blue. We're going to plug it in right there. Why didn't I choose that one below? I could have. I could have, but I know most of you are fond of fractions, so if I can use the whole number version, I'm going to. So we're going to use this thing equation to solve for x. So our blue, 2x plus 4, is half, or excuse me, twice of the red, 2x minus 1. You solve for x, and then your ultimate ambition is to find CF. Make sure you actually answer that question. Taking a look on the right, let's see here. We're going to work with, we want CE is going to be our question mark. We are given CL, which is the whole thing, and we're given the EL. Let's pull this apart so it's a little bit easier to work with. Here's C, here's E, here's L. Let's label everything that we have. We have the green, which is 6x. We have the red, which is x plus 4. And we ultimately want the blue, question mark. So let's do our thing equations first. Let's do what's really simple here. We know that the blue plus the red equals green. We look at what we have information for. We have information for the red. We have information for the green. But we don't have information for the blue. Let's come up here and see if there's anything we can use. We know the blue is 2 reds. So bunny hop with me. That's 1 bunny hop. And the blue is simply 2 of the reds. So we can come down here. That means our red, which is x plus 4, plus, you come up with the equation for the blue, I just explained it, equals our green, which is 6x. Solve for x, make sure you actually answer the question being asked, which is ultimately to find the blue.